Disability Rights Initiative Program, DRIP, coming to you live.
Ready, go!
This program is brought to you by FAECARE Foundation, supported by Disability Rights Fund as part of Disability Rights Initiative Project, Accessibility. Disability Rights Initiative Program, DRIP, promoting and advancing disability rights.
Hello, good morning and welcome to this beautiful program. As you can see, I'm smiling because I have some very beautiful women around me here, and they're going to talk about some great things that will quite interest you and also educate you. My name is Gugu Eyala. You're watching Don't Play here live on RSTV. What a day! I have FAECARE here with me, FAECARE Foundation. They are going to talk about Disability Rights Initiative Project. Of course, usually we allow the women to introduce themselves, but these women are so beautiful. I want to introduce them myself, So I have Frecky Andrew Essien here. You can see her. I also have Carol Akpoguma here. These are the people I have here with me, and we're going to talk about some quite interesting things that I believe you need to know. Will help you and educate you a lot in life here. So let me start with Madam Frecky. If I'm permitted to call her by that name.
When they call people madam, they have money. So please, Frecky.
So Frecky, I have some questions here I would like to ask, but let me start from you. First of all, what is DRIP, Disability Rights Initiative Project, all about?
Okay, thank you very much. Hi everyone, and welcome to the program. So, FAECARE Foundation started in 2013, and our vision is to add value to the lives of vulnerable individuals. We have a group of persons that we have decided that we'll work with, and we have vulnerable children, persons with disabilities, youth, and the less privileged in society. But it's not about just reaching out to them. We have curated programs in our different thematic areas to reach out to these individuals. And one of such programs targeted at persons with disabilities is Disability Rights Initiative Project. And that project focuses on advancing the rights of persons with disabilities. And for this year, we're focusing on accessibility for persons with disabilities, particularly in Rivers State. So the purpose of Disability Rights Initiative Project Accessibility is to push for the advancement of accessibility in the physical environment for persons with disabilities. We're also focusing on building the capacity of persons with disabilities to advocate for their rights. And that's why we have someone like Auntie Carol, who is here, who participated in the training program and is now a disability advocate, as well as myself that has spoken about disability issues for so long. So FAECARE Foundation, in doing and reaching out to the vulnerable groups that we cater to, this is one of such projects, and that's Disability Rights Initiative Project. And this activity that we're doing is part of the activities that have been lined up as part of the project, and that is to create awareness. And we chose the terrestrial TV, RSTV, to be the platform for which we're able to converse on television.
Thank you so much for coming around here. Madam Carol, actually, you participated in the program. How would you do? What would you say were the most things you benefited from that program?
Good morning once again, and I did need to thank FAECARE Foundation for this initiative. This great work is doing. Some of us that are physically challenged, we thought maybe the world has ended. We don't want to come out, we don't want people to see us because we feel that we're not good again. And that feeling of inferiority complex that you cannot do anything. But with this foundation, with this training, we find that you have this great boldness to come that, yes, surely there's disability, but there's also ability in you to reach out, to encourage another person to see, yes, you can do. Like me, I'm an advocate, PWDA advocate, accessibility rights advocate. And I can now stand and tell somebody there, you don't need to sit down and wait somebody to give you bread to eat. You can go out and find bread for yourself and be yourself. That's what I want to tell people, that that's what I gain confidence, ability to do things myself.
Okay, madam, that comes with a follow-up question now. During the training, you must have met other people, so what is disability, and what other types of disabilities do we have?
Yeah, throughout the training, I've met a lot of other disability people. That is true. At times, people don't know they have other type of disability. Disability, I would say disability is a long-term, include long-term, mental, physical, intellectual, sensory, and neuro. And this pendant, it helps this one kind of disability. It hinders people with ability to feature well with others in the society, to meet well with in the society. They cannot produce, they cannot, do that which they want to do perfectly because of the hindrance they encounter. Giving equal opportunity with others. You cannot get the best out of them because there are some challenges confronting them.
Okay.
So if I were to add to that, because I'd like to bring a bit of technicality to the definition of disability. When people think about disability, what they focus on is the obvious impairment. But also in the disability community, we define disability as an umbrella term for impairments. So we're talking about, like she said, sensory impairment. Sensory impairment has to do any impairment that has to do with the senses, which is the visual, the eyes, that's the eyes, the ears, and then speech. And then we have physical disability, which has to do with mobility impairment.
Somebody who has lost sense of smell.
The sense of smell is also, and it's not very common, but it happened a lot during the COVID-19 pandemic. And if you would allow me to finish, because it's not just focusing on impairment, because it's an umbrella term, like I said, so I was just trying to slide in there the types of disabilities. So we also have the intellectual disability, which has to do with learning. So you have cerebral palsy, autism, you have Down syndrome. And then you also have what we call psychosocial disability, which is also known as invisible disability. So if somebody is diagnosed of, for example, manic depression, bipolar disorder, they are categorized as having a disability or an impairment. But it doesn't stop there. In defining disability, we are talking about not just the impairment, but that interaction that the impairment has with the environment. So for example, as a person who has a physical disability, what happens when I'm interacting with my immediate environment when it comes to the barriers that will not allow me to have full and equal access as everyone? Then we begin to start talking about disability. So in defining disability, we do not just stop at, oh, the person has this, the person has that. The interaction with the environment that does not allow the person to access on a full and an equal basis, that limits the person's activity, limits and restricts the person's participation as others. That's when we begin to talk about disability. And the broad categorization is what I've just done, because it's also the challenge that people have when they call everybody that has a disability physical challenge. And when they do that, I said, so what happens to the person who has sensory impairment? What happens to the person who has psychosocial? So we learn these things as we go, and these are programs like this that help us to bring that awareness.
Yeah, so thank you so much to learn, about disabilities. So my second question here is, what are some of the perspectives of disability?
That's nice. If I ask you your perspective of disability, you'll be shocked. See, disability, when it comes to, with time, the perspective of disability has continued to evolve. And it's important that people begin to check where they currently are when they're thinking when it comes to disability. So the first one I would say is the one that you all know, which is the welfare and the charity model of disability. So what that happens is that a person who sees disability in that context only sees a person with disability as somebody who is needing of help only. And for that, it positions the person with disability in the constant state of being in need of arms. So that is the charity model of disability, the charity way of thinking. And you must access yourself, because it's important that you involve in your thinking of what disability represents. Because if you're a person, let's say you're an employer or a boss, and you are held on the construct of disability just dancing around welfare and charity, you would not have the sense that a person with disability can bring value to a space, but rather you would feel that you should be the benevolent person to that forever, which can be very exhausting. Now, the other model or the way of thinking of disability that we've seen is the one that we call the medical way of thinking, where we want to fix the person first before anything. So I'm just saying this because it's important for us to see where we are. You want to fix it, so you are broken, we want to fix you, you know? And we are a deeply spiritual society. So you see where a mother would, when it's trying maybe the child to go to school, and that mother, because that mother is heavy on fixing first, so she denies that child, education, because she's focused on, okay, just be well first. And disability or in the impairment can be long term. So what if that child never gets well as you want her to be? That means you deny the child the right to education. We've seen that happen time and time again. So that thinking of disability, now, please note that whether it's welfare, whether it's medical, there's nothing wrong with them. But when you are heavily fixated on that and begin to deny that person the basic fundamental human rights, then that way of thinking, you can see it's myopic. The other one is the social way of thinking in disability. And this has to do with where social responsibility comes in. So for example, an individual feels socially responsible to remove barriers that would hinder participation of a person with disability or persons with disabilities. So for example, this company decides to, in their part of their corporate social responsibility, decides to remove barriers to employment, barriers to participation of persons with disabilities. They do it consciously. So that's the social way of thinking. But the one we really like and we want a lot of people to move towards is the human rights way of thinking, where you begin to see that this person is not just here to just coast. This person is a human first, that the fundamental human rights apply to that person, disability rights apply to that person. So you're not doing social responsibility as benevolence or we should do this, but as understanding that this person actually has a right to access this space and it's now influenced in systems. So this is where we need people to begin to move. Because imagine that I am a good employer that I am a good person and I have a company and I will employ a person with disability. But let's say the state now has laws that protects the rights of persons with disability. If we are doing employment, by right, we will employ 5% as persons with disabilities. So that makes it even better. So we want perspectives when it comes to disabilities to begin to change so that development can happen.
So basically what you're looking at is the rights.
Yes.
And there may be probably legislations that enforce those rights.
Yes, so they cover and they will cover all aspects
of it. Okay, Madam Carol, as a person, what are these rights that you really want? We are talking about here. The rights that you want given to you.
Inclusion.
Okay.
The rights I want to be included, like what FAECARE just said. She has spoken everything that we have a right. First of all, we are human. Before disability, allow me to do things. Like now, if I'm here now doing a broadcasting job, people will say, that woman when they see. That has already reduced my rights and my confidence. It shouldn't be. Allow me to be free to do things I want to do the right way.
Quite interesting. I hope the viewers out there, you are learning because there's quite a lot to learn from this topic. If you're watching the program, you can call us on the number that you see on your screen, and then we'll take your calls. Remember that we don't have all the time, so we'll just quickly take a few calls before we continue with the rest. But for the meantime, FAECARE has a video, a very short clip of an advocacy video they want to show us. So we'll take a look at that video, and when we come back, this discussion will continue.
No one can enjoy what they cannot assess. Persons with disabilities still continue to face many barriers that hinder their full and meaningful participation in our society today. At FAECARE Foundation, we envision a state where accessibility becomes an integral part of our societal infrastructure and consciousness. Accessibility is for all. Make River State accessible for persons with disability. It is possible. This message is brought to you by FAECARE Foundation, supported by Disability Rights Fund as part of Disability Rights Initiative Project, Accessibility. Disability Rights Initiative Program, DRIPA. Coming to you live.
Ready, go!
This program is brought to you by FAECARE Foundation, supported by Disability Rights Fund as part of Disability Rights Initiative Project Accessibility. Disability Rights Initiative Program, DRIPA, promoting and advancing disability rights.